Okay, this is the book The London System in 12 Practical Lessons, Strategic Concepts, Typical Plans and Tactical Teams by Oscar de Prado. Notice that Oscar de Prado wrote also another book on the London System with another author. Okay, so this is very interesting. The book is based on 12 lessons that we could also call chapters. The book is made by about, I think, I don't know, 64 games or something like that. I chose 3 games to show you. Why? Because I think I like the format of this book, which is through games, but also the fact that most of the games that we can see today are by Gata Kamsky. Gata Kamsky is one of the players that has played most the London and gave a lot of new ideas in the London. So the first game I would like to show is from lesson number 5. The game is 10 and it's between Gata Kamsky and Samuel Shankland. It was played in Stourbridge 2014. Notice the games are very heavily annotated, so they are going to give you the theoretical preparation you need. I think obviously that I will not show the lines because it would be impossible, it would take hours and hours. Okay? E3, C5, C3. I'm just interested in seeing them because I would like to rehash my London and see what is new about and what are they playing now, okay? So after C3, knight C6, knight F3, D5, knight BD2, bishop D6, and generally here is when you return back, bishop G3, yes. The bishop on F4 is one of the key pieces in the London system. We shouldn't allow it to be exchanged without receiving something in return. Thus, the idea of bishop G3 is to gain the half-open H-file in the event of an exchange on G3. Castle. And bishop D3. Now, why did I show you this book, this game? Because I was interested to see what happens when black gains space, okay? And generally it can gain space like with c4. So it was kind of interesting. It says, this is one of the key positions of this variation. Black has several options at this point, and white should prevent black from playing e6, e5. Black continues with queen e7 because it was... The problem is when you have these two like this, if we can do this, it's a really big problem, right? So queen e7, one of the traditional lines, together with rook e8, both aim at implementing the advanced e6, e5. Currently, the most fashionable line is 8b6. So now they play this move and not rook e8 or queen e7. Knight e5. Placing the knight on e5 is one of the main ideas when black plays system with d7, d5, and in addition, in this case, we prevent black's e6, e5 pawn break. But this is the problem. When you play this is the move they play. And so you have a problem, right? And in fact, it was played in this game by Shankland. Black continues with his typical plan of expelling the annoying knight from e5. And here he threatens to play f7, f6. Okay, so, but white now makes use of an unexpected sequence of moves, which are all very strong. So here it gives you some lines related if black would have played bishop takes e5, okay, and why is not good. So, okay, knight d7, knight takes d7, bishop takes d7, This natural move is dubious here. If black had been able to see what lay in store, he would have recaptured with queen takes d7. Now white can force a draw if he wants with bishop takes d6, queen takes d6, and d takes c5. And then what follows? Queen takes e5, bishop takes e7, okay, this is interesting and we should watch it, I think. Let's see how it draws because I'm kind of curious. Tac, 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 tac. Probably at this point there must be queen h5, right? Yes. Queen h5, queen g8. Knight e4. Yes, I was aware of this move because I think Grandmaster Williams showed it in one of his latest London DVDs. G6. Okay. Queen g5. Queen e7. Knight f6. Queen g7. Knight h5. Rook king h7. Knight f6. King g7. And knight h5 with a draw. If whites want to play for a win, then he can opt with a castle, and there is another line. Okay, that's kind of interesting. I will pause here and return back to the position. Okay. Okay, I think we were in this position. White played knight takes d7, bishop takes d7, and now there is try to pause and think or see what happens. Bishop takes d6. Queen takes d6. Oh, sorry, I forgot a pawn here, it seems. Okay, sorry. D takes c5. Queen takes c5. This whole sequence of exchanges, which seems to favor black, is justified by a line developed in his home analysis by Grandmaster Eric Priet, one of the greatest specialists in the London system. You might be surprised when we tell you plainly that black is already lost now. Here white has one of the tactical shots that every London system player should know, and it's surprising that a strong 2600, currently 2700 player was unfamiliar with this idea, which was already popular. Okay, yes, I remember this idea kind of pretty well, honestly. But honestly, I think the so-called home analysis is a computer-generated line because it's kind of complicated tactically, okay? And you must remember precisely what to do. Bishop takes h7, king takes h7, queen h5, king g8, and knight e4. This is the thing, but it's not finished, okay? That's what you must remember, and I tell you. The key to White's idea, owing to the pin, the knight gains a crucial tempo by attacking the black queen, and is thus able to reach the critical square g5, from where it will mount a decisive attack. Queen c4, okay? Knight g5, and rook f d8. And wait, this is the point. Sorry, but we need to pause because this is the thing. This move is kind of very interesting. Because if I remember well, you cannot play this because it will go back. So you try to play this, e4. And now there is rook f d8, queen takes f7, king h8, and now rook d1, okay? So this is the line that I remember one has to remember in case black plays queen d3, okay? Queen b5, a4, queen a6, okay? And now let's find the rest, because again, it's not easy. f4, knight e7, it says, queen h5, I don't know if we are in h5, king g8, rook f1, he takes e4, queen f7, tap and tap. Now we can do that. And here it doesn't give an evaluation. I don't know why. It should tell you at least that the white is winning, right? I don't know. Yeah, obviously white is winning, but the point is at least put an evaluation in the thing. And maybe also we need more diagrams like analysis diagrams in order to return back to the position. Okay, I think I knew this game by Gatakamsky, and I remember it. Yeah, and I remember all the analysis because GM Williams, Grandmaster Williams, made a video about this game. Okay, now let me return back to the position we were. Okay, so this was the position. I was curious and I show you what happened on Queen d3. Instead, the move played in the game, Rook f d8. And now there is Queen takes f7, King h8, Queen h5, and King g8. Now you play Rook d1, and this is a very important move. In the same game of this line, Priya played Queen f7, Rook h8, before h4, which also win. But Kamsky's move is better. So this is better, okay? Rook d1, e5. The important thing is, this is move 19. It's possible that Rook d1 was found as a home analysis, okay? Queen f7. There is also the move f4, which wins. King h8, e4. And another move played in Philadelphia in 2018 was h4, okay? Knight e7. Queen takes e7. Bishop b5, obviously threatening checkmate here. Queen b2, defending against the mate. Now white's threats are unstoppable. Queen takes a2, obviously still threatening. Queen f7, Queen a1, Rook d1, Queen takes b2. And now white launches the final assault. It's a forced win now, okay? Queen h5, King g8, Queen h7, King f8, Queen h8, King e7, Queen takes g7, King d6, Rook takes d5, King c6, and Queen f6, and Shankland resigned without waiting for the rest. What would be the rest? This moves. Queen, King c7, Knight e6, King b6, and Knight d8. It's the final nail in black coffin, it seems. Okay, beautiful game. And yes, it's a win in about 31 moves. So against a very strong player like Shankland, right? Now there is another game, always of Gatakamsky against Samuel Savian, played in 2015 in Chicago. Okay, let's go on. Gatakamsky, Samuel Savian, Chicago 2015. Savian was 25-65, so clearly stronger master. D4, D5, Bishop F4, Knight F6, E3, E6, Knight D2, C5, C3, Knight C6, Knight G, f3, bishop d6, and bishop g3. Okay, the main move. It seems there is also the possibility to take on d6, and there are here many examples. Okay. Castle, bishop b5. Wow, that's interesting. Bishop takes g3. H takes g3. Queen b6. And bishop takes c6. A good alternative is pawn a4. We take c6. Queen c2. Rook b8. And rook b1. Obviously, there was a double attack here. So far, it's the same as in the previous game. In this case, black chooses the best move. C takes d4. Okay, so black was clearly prepared. And they saw in another game this move, okay? Okay, C takes d4, C takes d4, bishop a6, which is a move also in the French to prevent white from castling. Knight e5, white places his knight on e5, the natural move, as it forms part of white plan and is usual in the London system. Although, as we'll see later, if black plays well, he can practically force a draw. That's why 1 year later, Kamsky himself tried b4. Instead of this, he tried b4. Okay, so clearly the problem is that they continue to find new ways, maybe with computers, and so one must be really ready and study one's own theory, okay? After 95, rook f c8. It seems it was better to play queen b5, and here there is another page of analysis. b4, a good move, giving white an advantage. This is better than knight b3, obviously. Why obviously? Because you gain space. That's why. Queen b5, wow, be careful here, there is a checkmate. Again, black threatens mate on e2, but now white has a better defense. Queen d1, queen b7. Because white was threatening a4 to repel the queen, okay? Okay. Here there are some analysis in case black would have played knight e4, okay? And it seems it really doesn't work well for black. So f4, it's a dubious move, an inaccurate move which loses the advantage. It was better to play g4. Okay, and here it gives the line with g4. By the way, some lines are like 6-7 moves long, which in my opinion show that they are kind of computer generated. And so obviously I don't care to show them, you can see them by yourself. How did the game continue? With queen e7, that is another mistake. It was better to defend with knight e8. Okay, queen e7. a3, knight d7, knight takes d7, queen takes d7, and now queen c2. In this position, this move is also good, okay? So queen c2, and again, I tell you just the position, but obviously there is some analysis behind. h6, knight b3, queen e7, and this is dubious. It was better probably bishop c4, knight c5. Here, once again, the plan of g3, g4 was very strong in this game. Kamsky played too quietly when the position cried out for the king side to be opened up. Well, I don't know if the king side really cried out, but clearly They have different ideas, no? Kansky being at 2700, it's strange that he wasn't able to find the right plan. But that tells about everything. So tell us about us. Who are we if we cannot find it, right? Bishop c4, king f2. Maybe this was the reason he didn't want to open the king side. He wanted a safe place for his king. f6, queen g6, queen f7. It seems black is obliged to give up the pawn, okay? So, sorry, that's a rook. Rook takes h6, this wins a pawn, but it allows the exchange of queens and gives black good survival chances in the ending. It was still very advantageous to play queen g4. So, instead of playing rook takes h6, queen g4, okay? And there is a line here that you can see. Queen takes g6, rook takes g6, king f7, bishop g4, e5. Very good move. White has to lose a few tempi relocating his rook, and black is able to exploit this to mount counterplay on the other wing. Rook h4, a takes b4, rook takes b4, rook takes b4, and a takes b4. Obviously now there is rook b8, g4, and rook takes b4. Black has regained his pawn. Nevertheless, white still retains some advantage, since the knight is superior to the bishop, and the pawns on c6 and e6 are slightly weak. So in this particular endgame, the knight is better than the bishop, and then there is these two weaknesses. Rook h8 and rook b1. It seems the best defense was rook b2, and also here there is like a 8-9 moves long variation to see. Rook c8, not good. It seems the best move was rook a8. But again, the problem, in my opinion, is beautiful that we have rook a8 as the best move, and then a line that is 8 moves long. But that doesn't tell you how you did find rook a8 as winning move. How did you find it? Because that's what we don't understand as readers, right? How do you find this move in the middle of the game? White got a Kamsky that does this all his life long, because I think he played chess from when he was a child. He didn't find the right move, and I'm sure he had coaches, he had the chance to study the endgame, right? I don't know. Rook f1, king g3, rook e1, rook c7, king g8, rook takes c6, and rook takes e3. Here there is another diagram. Once more, it seems white didn't find the right move. King f2 is a move that leads to equality. Instead, king h4 was worth trying, he says. Okay, but clearly Katakansky didn't find it. Rook e2, king f3, and e5. Good move. Okay, a good response. Black wants to continue exchanging pawns, which improves the activity of his pieces. The position is now equal. Rook c8, king h7, knight e6, rook c2, king g3, e takes f4, knight takes f4, rook c3, king h2, rook e3, and here there is rook d8 and rook e4. As we can see, everybody is fighting for the pawns. The draw is now clear. Knight takes d5, bishop takes d5, and rook takes d5, and rook takes g4. And the draw was agreed. So this was the second game of this book that I wanted to show you. Now the last game, still a game by Gatakamsky against Per Carida Cazzola in Stiges 2016. I will pause just to replace the pieces in the right position. Okay, last game, Gatakamsky per Garriga Cazorla in Stiges 2016. Noted Gatakamsky is 2661 and black is 2386. So kind of doom. D4, knight f6, bishop f4, e6, e3, c5, knight d2, bishop e7, c3, knight c6, knight g f3, d5, and knight e5. And here there is a diagram. And when black plays bishop e7 instead of bishop d6, this early knight jump to e5 is possible and good. And now black plays bishop d6. I guess he was listening. This seems to me to be a waste of time. Yeah, okay. Even though we are still in the opening and in a close position, it isn't good to waste tempi like this. It was better to take or to castle. Okay? Queen a4, the start of a typical queen maneuver to attack the queen side and, for the time being, attack c6. Other good options were bishop g3, bishop d3, and it gives also the games in which they were played. In one case, Ponomarev against Ulfan, okay? But it was played later, in 2018. Queen c7. This apparently natural move defends c6 and attack e5. But it's a mistake that loses a pawn. The best continuation was bishop takes e5. Okay. Bishop. Okay, so knight takes c6, b takes c6, bishop takes d6, queen takes d6, and queen a3. And once again, this queen maneuver is the key. Now there is no good defense against the pin on the c5 pawn, and so white wins a pawn. Castle. The pawn was also lost after knight d7 because white would play knight d3, okay? Knight d3, a5, and obviously that's really nice, right? It puts there a piece that is really strong instead of trying to exchange the queens. Very good, interesting ideas. e5, bishop e2, and bishop f5. Castle. White makes his king safe and consolidates his position. The opening has been a success for white. He has won a pawn. He has a strong knight on c5, and black's a pawn is weak. Rook f e8, queen f4. White wants to improve the position of his queen. Now that the work has been done, it isn't particularly well placed on a3. Another option was to centralize the rooks with rook f d1. h5. It's a good idea for black to seek counterplay on the king side, where there are no white pieces. It's also justified by the fact that black pieces are well centralized. Okay? Rook a d1, bishop g4. Here there were different ideas and the author shows them. Queen c2, rook a b8, h3, and bishop c8. Black avoids piece exchanges since these favor the side with a material advantage, which is white in this case. And so bishop takes e2, queen takes e2 would have given white a clear advantage. Now white plays a dubious move, f4. This advance is at least dubious, if not bad, because it weakens the e4 square and there is no benefit to white in opening the e file. White has the advantage on the queen side, and so that's where he should play. It was healthy and good to play e3 instead. Okay. As you can see, also at an amazing level, like Kamsky, he still misses the right plan. What does it mean? I mean, if someone like Kamsky misses the right plan, can you imagine someone like us that is maybe 700, 800 points less than him? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. He takes d4. He takes d4. And bishop f5. Well, interesting. This is a good move. Yeah. Queen d2. h4. Generally, when they play h4, the idea is knight here and here. Huh? It was slightly better to double the rooks on the e file with rook e7. So instead of h4, rook e7. So also black is missing the right plan. Bishop f3, bishop e4, rook d e1. This move loses the advantage. It was better to play bishop g4. Okay, again. It seems all so easy after the game. Rook takes f3, no, sorry, bishop takes f3, rook takes e8 check, rook takes e8, and rook takes f3. Followed by knight e4, good move. Black has equalized his control on the e4 square, and domination of the e5 gives him sufficient counterplay for the pawn. Rook e1, queen e1 is better maybe than knight e4, which would just give equality. Yeah? Queen f6, knight d3, or probably wants to go here, right? Rook e6, rook e3, and queen h6. A mistake. Black could have kept the balance with a4. Wow. How do you know it again? Oh. f5. This move discoordinates the black pieces. Notice that black played rook f6, but is not written that this move is bad. Instead, the author puts analysis after this move, rook e7, and show that by move 35, the position is equal. So this was the good move, and maybe this wasn't, right? Knight f2, seeking the exchange of a strong black knight. Knight takes f2, rook e8, and king h7, queen takes f2, queen takes queen c1, king h2, queen g5, and rook e5. Now, the black rook is passive, and it's white who dominates the e file. So, interesting that we have an exchange of roles, right? King h6 is the move, but is wrong. Once more, the move that black should have played is this one. Now, since we see twice this move, it means that it's computer generated. Because generally it's the computer which continue to tell you that that is the right move to play, and you continue to miss it. And that's happened all the time, honestly. So king h6, a4. Now everything has changed. White's advantage is winning, since he is certain to have a pass pawn once he's played b2, b4. G6, B4, exclamation point, A takes B4, C takes B4, and King G7. A blunder in a very difficult position. It was better to play Rook takes F5. Okay. A5, Rook takes F5, Rook takes F5, G takes F5, obviously, because if you exchange the queens, obviously 1, 2, 3, bye-bye. A6, Queen D8, Queen takes F5, Queen A8, Queen G5, King F8, B5. Great move, the finishing touch. This is the quickest and most direct way to win. Queen D8 and Queen E5. And white resigns since after Queen takes B5, A7, this pawn becomes a queen. I hope you enjoyed these 3 games by Gata Kamsky, which were used in this book to teach you some good practical lessons. The book ends up also with a series of positions that you need to solve. So there are those are the solutions to the tactical exercises. Here there are the tactical exercises, I think, okay? Or a little before. In any case, the point is that, these are the tactical exercises. So this is a very nice touch to the book, because you want to finish the book, but see if you have learned something, right? And in the end, also the book, there are the this is what you should play for each line. So for each variation, it gave you a kind of variation index that you can use in your games, or to find which lesson is the one which should teach you something about that. And the book ends up with an index of names. So if you're looking for a particular player, it's easy to find. A great book if you want to learn the London. I hope you will enjoy it.